Hi Capricorn, welcome to your mid-September reading. I would like to take a second and just comment on how quiet it is, how lovely that is, and how needed it is as we go through these very, very tense transits that we knew were coming from the 15th to the 18th, and now we're definitely in the thick of it. I'd like to look at these cards a bit more intuitively, and then of course we can get into the astrology. Take a deep breath, Capricorn, and let's focus. So for most of us, the combination of Mercury being retrograde and being across from Jupiter, which is in Aries, being retrograde, going retrograde as well, we have this sense that there is so much that we would like to do, so many opportunities that we feel are afforded to us, and yet we have this keen sense of needing to find a new way there. Now, for some of you, you're prepared for this. You've been educating yourself. You can say that you saw this coming years ago and started to prepare yourself, whether that preparation was getting some sort of paperwork finalized, or whether it was completing a term of education. Some of you are hitting these transits right on the nose because you've had a lot of prep, and now things that would have felt like the sky falling down actually seem beneficial because you are equipped in all the ways that one needs to be to, let's call it, recession-proof themselves. For those of you who haven't been preparing and feel like these transits are hitting you head on, the cards have some advice for you here. Again, let's look at these intuitively before we start with the astrology. There is an opportunity to create a new kind of life, whether that comes through a new job offer or an understanding you reach within the family. Something that puts you even more firmly on the path that now you feel you should have always been on, which is nice. You know, feeling that sense of belonging. Yes, I am where I should be. It's very powerful. It gives you a feeling of winning that you absolutely love, a feeling of winning that you thrive off of, and you hit this sweet spot where either the trauma and pain of family is no longer as much of a sting as it used to be, and work is great, and so the mix of the two creates a contentment and what in the I Ching is called containment of power. Very positive. For those of you who have had family, let's say, misunderstandings, issues, etc. in the past, you find that things are smoothing out. Of course, you're being more receptive as well, but there seems to be a general air of everyone wanting to work things out together. So you're not only finding a new way to live, but in a very positive way where these opportunities are showing up and your career path seems to welcome you more fully, but you're finding a new way to love. Whether that means that you're deepening a connection that already exists, or you're finally letting yourself get out there a little bit. It feels different because it's not based on a need, and it's not based on a want even, which is interesting. It's simply out of contentment and curiosity. I think that's so healthy for you, right? So if we look at the bottom row here, we have the Queen of Wands, the King of Swords, this Three of Pentacles, and the Five of Cups. So now we start to run into some, let's call them decision-making anxieties. So you may find that you want to make a big decision, maybe leave a job for another job, something risky, but it's like halfway through you're mad that you jumped, right? You didn't want to jump. So in that case, if you feel like you've made a bad financial decision somewhere in August, or you've committed to something that now you're thinking, if I go through with this, this is going to be bad for me, but you don't want to go back on your word, I get it. In that case, I think it's important to get back in touch with whomever you were working with whatever the case is prior. Because there's a very good chance that they're as regretful about you leaving as you are. So it may work out just fine. Now, if you decide that the mistakes you've made financially or otherwise are too big, and so you can't try again with family, or you can't try again with a previous employer or a previous client, then you are choosing to live in a state of helplessness, instead of allowing the truth, which it's going to get in anyway. Sometime in the last week of September, whether you want this truth or not, you will you will have to face it. And what is that truth? That truth is that the things that you need, the things that you want, whether you've made a mistake and you want to go back, or you are looking forward and you just don't want to make the wrong decision, for those of you who haven't jumped quite yet. The truth is that this love, this opportunity, this thing that is for you, it's only for you and nobody else can have it. But are you emotionally up for this? Is there something, Capricorn, that you are not telling the truth about? To yourself, to someone else, there seems to be, even in the cards, it's like it feels like you're hiding something. It feels like you're trying to evade something. Does that make sense? I just want to check the shot. Hold on. Yeah. Does that make sense? It feels, and then I was feeling it already, and then it goes ahead and comes up. So there is this sense of karma, right? You do have a sense generally that you can't get enough done towards the end of the month and moving into October, a sense of thanklessness from the people around you. So that may also lead you to be a bit more deceptive, deceptive being nothing more than just being like, yeah, I'm happy, when really you're not happy. Could be that. But these are all things that lead you away from your contentment because you're choosing to let you be led away. Okay? Keep that in mind, because, for example, if it's your job that's leading you away from your happiness, and you know how capable you are, and you know that you can go back to the job you used to have, or a scenario where you can get back the amount of money that you used to make, then fuck this job. And you should be able to say that, right? What would keep you from doing that? What would keep you from saying that? Perhaps a misplaced sense of obligation or loyalty to a company, a corporation that has no loyalty to you. Remembering, especially Cap rising, that this sense of loyalty that you seem to exhibit, that loyalty is to the concept of work, to the abstraction that you call having a purpose, working, getting to the top of the mountain. That is what you're loyal to. The specifics of whatever company at the moment you work for, are working with, whatever, that's not what you should be loyal to. So that's it. I'm sorry, I'm just getting used to having this microphone. So that's something you have to get used to, that making that distinction between your love and respect of work in general and what it provides and how it makes you feel to be accomplished, and attaching that feeling and sense of worth to an actual company or a thing, because it's not that. This is about you. This is your journey. Those are feelings that you like having within you, because of what you're doing. They're not attached to some specific company, no matter how much you would like to give them credit because it makes you feel more important. That connection is a false connection. Okay, now let's look at more of the astrology. If you feel like there's something going on health-wise that you just can't kick, this really is the time to get on it and just go to the doctor. I know that sounds odd if you're feeling just slightly off, like, oh my God, it's not that serious, I can't afford it. Okay, but the chances are that you'll find out something that's really nothing, super preventable. But if you don't go and there is something slight that's on your mind, like if I'm talking about this right now and you're thinking, oh yeah, my knee or whatever it is, just go. Just go. I guarantee you it'll be way, way, way more expensive if it turns into something. Just go. At the very most, it'll be a super minor thing that you can easily fix on your own. And then that's it. And then you don't have to worry. Okay? So there are some issues here with that first row with the 10 of Cups. There is this foreboding of some family members being like, hey, you're stepping out of line, or you're doing too much, or you're abandoning us, or there is a sense of some of your family feeling betrayed by you, feeling like you've taken from them. And if you are complicit in that, if you did take from them, if you do have some sort of strange history with them where you've, not been very nice, this definitely is the time where all of that is going to bubble up, and it perhaps already has started bubbling up. So, how does one deal then with things that perhaps to you seem awkward to even still be talking about because they happened so long ago or they're not relevant anymore? But I think that's because you lose sight of the fact that sometimes when you make decisions, you make these kind of there's such a finality to the things that you do. So when you decide, however much later, that you no longer feel that way, or that's fine now, I think you are going to run into a little bit of blowback from the people who know you, who are like, wait, you were a staunch, supporter of this, or a defender of this, or an opponent of this, and now you're kind of lukewarm and don't really care. Wait, what? So there are people within your family, within your friend group, that may find that your behavior recently is a bit hypocritical, that you're being, that you're not being very nice, but you can't tell, and it's nothing specific that's going on. So it's a very hard thing to pin down. And it does have to do with a certain level of success, again, of contentment. So there are positive ways that goes, and there are negative ways that affects you. One of the ways that's negative is that you do tend to start monopolizing situations, monopolizing conversations, monopolizing moments where, it's someone else who should be getting the attention. And being successful, feeling financially secure can just add a lot of fuel to that fire. So we want to really be considerate of others, especially at the beginning of October. We want to be very, very, very considerate and show people with our actions that we're not just here to take. Okay? Now, in terms of money, if you feel like things are blocked and they're just not moving, yes, absolutely they're blocked, but getting upset or impatient about it is not going to do anything anyway. What you need to do is start focusing on how you're going to move in this new economy. And that's way more important. And when you start to focus somewhere else seriously, the things that are waiting will come in. Let's see. So I feel like in the extended, we should talk about this thing with the loved ones and how they really would like to kind of open your eyes to how much more important they are than your job, which is such great timing for you because you're already in that mind space yourself. Now, for those of you who are single and aren't in that situation, this is a time where you finally decide with your whole heart that you would actually like that. And as with everything with you guys, that's when the manifestation starts to move very, very quickly. You decide. So let's talk about that more in the extended. Let's talk about finding a new way to love more in the extended. And that attitude, right? That attitude of like thinking outside of the box when it comes to love, thinking in such a radically considerate way about our partners that they bring themselves, the best version of themselves to us. Like, let's talk about all that stuff in the extended. That will be on Vimeo and Patreon. I'm going to cut the video here. I love you. And yeah, we're going to keep going.